All right, there we go. It is February 22nd, 22nd, not second. And I can clearly see that I am due for a haircut. I should have worn a hat. Anyway, we got some cool stuff to cover today, and plus, anything you guys want to address as well. Anything anybody want to hit before I get started? You guys are all in good shape. Roy, we're still trying to figure out your SMTP deal. I know you got it up for Daniel. I got him looking at it. I'm like,
Yeah,
dude,
we're working on it, but what I'm going to do, I'm going to go back to Liquid Web again, and if we can't do it with that email address, I'm just going to use a different one. But you're saying that the email I use should not be connected with a website, or does it matter?
no, it should be a domain email address because you
Yeah,
need the
it will be.
SMTP. Yeah. But what I would do, I mean, there's no reason that I can see that email should not work.
Well, I'm going to try it again, but I've spent at least an hour with him on several occasions, and we can't make it go. So
And
I'm about
that's
ready to just dump that one and go to something else.
and you're talking about you were on with Daniel and he couldn't get it to go?
No, no, I was on with Liquid Web.
Okay. All right. Well, let's see what Daniel has because like I said, I'm my internet dominator mail is on Liquid Web as well. And it wouldn't work for me either. And he got it to work. And I'm like, I need to know what kind of voodoo you've got over there to get that thing to work.
Well, he and I are working on it, but we're trying different things and nothing seems to go yet. So that's why I'm thinking maybe I'll just use a different one. And if it works, I don't care why the other one didn't. It
All
doesn't
right.
matter. I just want to have, my own
Well,
domain email address.
yeah.
But but again, does it matter if I have a website on that domain?
No, no, it
Okay.
shouldn't matter.
Well,
Email,
then we'll
email and
find it.
web they're separate. They might run on the same domain, but they're separate from one
And
another.
that's fine. We'll get it figured out.
Yeah. Yeah. There's just no reason for that not to work. I don't know. I'm gonna definitely need to find out from Daniel. He'll get it to work. I can almost assure you he'll get it to work for you. But the thing is, I want to know what the hell he did because we should have been able to do that.
Well,
I
he's great working with me on this, and I don't want to waste his time either. If an easier solution is just use a different email address.
Well, no, I mean this is the SMTP for the white label is a very integral part of the system.
Okay.
So I need to know why that's not working
Okay.
and if it's not, what to do about it.
Well, we're not giving up.
No, no, we'll get it figured out one way or another. All
Hi,
right.
John. I have a question, if you can hear me.
Okay. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I'm having an issue connecting SendGrid to my portal, and I've created APIs and all of that good stuff. But every time I put in the key, the program says it's not valid. Do you know what might be the problem there?
That I don't know. SendGrid, I'm not really sure on. That's one where you should probably put a support ticket in and we'll have the dev team look at it. Because that's a programming issue. So
Okay.
there's good news right around the corner for you guys that are using either Go High Level or Kartra. The Go High Level integration is coming up first, and that one I have been told we're going to be able to roll that one out this weekend. So that's great news for all of those that are using Go High Level. Kartra is right behind it, so we're going to have that one in play very soon as well. So those two things are really positive news because I know how many people have had trouble with SendGrid. And The only reason that I told them to use SendGrid as the first one to roll out was SendGrid was compatible with Kartra. Now, that said, I didn't realize all the issues that you were going to have working directly with SendGrid to send your mail. I guess, and again, I've not used it myself. From what I understand from those that have used it and worked with it, it's not really the easiest thing to work with.
No.
So,
John, exactly once you get the Kartra synced in, what is the ability it will give us? Can we
Okay.
then send emails to those people on the
yes.
acquisition air list?
So, in Kartra right now, when you get a new customer, like let's say somebody opts in
Yeah.
on an email, so now you've got their email, and then in Kartra, you can set automations to automatically email that person. And you can do that based on tags or how they came in or anything like that. So what's going to happen now with the integration, when Kartra is integrated into your acquisition air account, the lead will come in, it will put it into your Kartra account, and it will put a tag on it. The tag will be based on the campaign that it came from. So you know how to respond to it. So then what you can do is you can set up an automation that says, when this tag is placed on a prospect, or they call them leads in Kartra. So the lead comes in, it'll get added to your Kartra account, and as soon as it gets that tag put on it, that's going to fire the automation sequence. So in the automation sequence, now you're sending an email. The thing is, you do not want to set these emails up to go through the Kartra mailer. That's where you select the SendGrid mailer. And then you can let Kartra tell SendGrid what to do. And then you don't have to configure your SendGrid account. You just configure your, you just figure your Kartra account. And then when you create that automation, these things are going to go out at a set pace, however you set it up. All you have to do is just select the SendGrid mailer to send that mail, and then you're good to go. So your Kartra account will be protected. The mail will be going out through SendGrid. You shouldn't have any problems at all. And then at that point, you can get them to opt in to anything else on your, inside your Kartra account. And from that point, then you can use the Kartra mailer to mail them, because then they've technically actually really opted into your stuff.
Well, what's the advantage of using the Kartra mail portal as opposed to SendGrid? I mean, I understand the first part. Kartra doesn't want to have anything to do with emails that they don't recognize.
Yeah. I really don't have the answer to that, honestly, because I've found out recently that Kartra is actually using SendGrid as their mailer.
Great.
So I don't really know what the difference is.
Well, okay.
I guess,
but it doesn't, we can still use SendGrid when we send our follow-up email.
Yeah, you can choose whether you can have both accounts in there, and you can choose whichever one you want to go out,
Okay, got it.
And
So it
you
might
can
be two
send-
separate campaigns, one's using
Mhm.
Kartra mail on things that have already gone through SendGrid and they've opted in, and then the other one could be more cold people.
Correct. Yeah.
Great, thank you.
Or you could just flatly just use SendGrid for everything, and not worry.
Rat's a ruck.
I'm not sure. Well, through Kartra, using SendGrid through Kartra.
Oh, I tried that. Kartra doesn't like any of my people. I need, what do you say to Kartra when you are sending in a CSV file? And not that many. I mean, like tax clients.
Well, Kartra doesn't like you uploading lists. So if you're sending stuff through, like I've told everybody since day one, don't upload your stuff in a CSV list to them. That is going to flag it as suspect.
Okay.
And if there's anything at all that they see off of that that suspect list, you're going to get bombed.
Okay, okay.
So, but if they come
I
in
didn't
one at
get
a
that
time,
message, but.
yeah, if they come in one at a time, it's a different story.
Ah,
So, but what you can do, anybody using Kartra, you'll notice a lot of people have the little red dot next to their lead, and it says, you know, they're not getting mail because. You can contact Kartra's support and you can say, I need you to whitelist all of my customers. And what they'll do, they'll go back and they'll reevaluate all of those red dots
mm,
and they'll clear the majority of them. And, you know, anyone that they don't clear, they'll tell you why, and then you can have the ability to fix it and, you know, or get your customer to fix it and then move forward.
great. Good to know. Thank you.
So, yeah, so email deliverability is, you know, that's a big thing. That's a big deal for everybody. All right, let's go to Russ.
Unmute. There we go. How you doing, John?
Good.
I missed the last couple weeks, but I did have a couple questions I wanted to ask. So first question on the ACT website under the bonuses, there's something that's called $2 $2 leads beta.
Yeah, that basically turned into Acquisitionaire.
Okay, all right.
So
Never mind about that then.
that's an old thing.
Second question is, there was a program that you had that takes the leads that come to the website. So I got a visitor that comes to my website, you're able to capture their email.
Yes.
What is that program called?
That is still the Acquisitionaire program, but inside you've got two different options of campaign types. You can set up a search lead campaign, which will get people that are searching the web, or you can set up a site lead campaign. The site lead campaign is something that goes on your site. It gives you like a pixel code, and you can put that on either your header or footer, so it's on all of your pages, or this is something that I just learned from Michael Taggart, what he's doing with it. And I thought, this is really spectacular. What he's doing is he's putting the specific pixel code on particular pages in the site. Like, let's say somebody goes to the shopping cart page. He's going to know if they bought or not, right? He'll have that person's info. So when they come into his system, he can say anybody with this tag that is not purchased yet, that's a hot lead. We want to hit them hard. Maybe we even want to trigger a phone call. So really, really cool the way he's using that. He's setting up particular campaigns for specific pages.
So it's basically you can have different levels, like the highest level would be they reached the cart level but did not purchase. The level below that, they went to a product page, maybe added to the cart or didn't add to the cart. That would be the next level down. So those would be like really warm, hot leads.
Yeah, exactly. Okay. Yep. So there's a lot of different ways that you could use that to find out who's on your site. Now, it doesn't get everybody. You know, that most people have logs of who's on the site and traffic logs. The traffic logs are very bloated. Like if you look at what you think is your analytics, your statistics for your website, especially if you're using the Google Analytics stuff, it's so inaccurate. It's ridiculous. They strip out so much data and then they pump other data in. You see, you might be looking at robot traffic. You know, other spiders coming to the site, they might be counting that as visitors, which technically it is. So we get about anywhere from 30 to 50% of the people, the real people that are actually on your site. We should be able to identify about 30 to 50% of them and actually get their contact data for you. We can't get it all. Like some people have opted out. Some people are on complaint lists. We scrub this data before it gets to you. So we're not sending you anything that's dirty. So you might have some dirty, filthy people on your site, and we're not going to send you those.
So the scrubbing of the emails is the same system that you use to scrub the search leads, right?
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now, is the cost the same whether it's a site lead or a search lead?
No, the site leads are fairly inexpensive compared, because we don't have all the programmatic stuff following people around, seeing what they're looking at. So the site leads are 25 cents.
Oh, okay.
So you can find out, who's on your site for 25 cents a lead. So that's pretty cool. So that's the program or the campaign type of site leads.
Okay.
So you have AI site leads, and then you have search leads. So
And all this is explained in the acquisition error.
yep, Brady has made videos on all of that stuff. How
Okay.
to set up the campaigns. Basically anything you're going to encounter in there, I think he's made a video on it.
Okay, sounds good. We'll give it a shot.
All right, Richard.
Hello, John. How's everything going today?
Awesome. How are the sales going? Are they pouring in?
Not yet. But I am in that direction finally. It took a while to get all the emails set up and going, and now I'm working on scaling. And what I'd like to talk to you about is not exactly on point, but is adjacent to this and kind of tags on to one of the first questions with regard to emailing stuff. Given that you have a server farm of your own, I'd like your opinions on plus or minus, good and bad. Is there any point in setting up my own private email server, or am I actually better using one that's already some company's platform who's sending a lot of email? So I'm just kind of part of the crowd. What's the best strategy on that?
Yes, being part of the crowd is going to be a lot less headache for you. Like if you use one of the best ones, and again, I don't use these, so I can't tell you how to use them. But the people that are using G Suite, usually their email deliverability is really good, because, Google has a lot of control over email deliverability through their system. They're also a domain registrar. They have a lot of clout. So that, I would say, if you're going to get a paid email service, they can host your domain mail. You don't have to move your website to them. You don't have to move your DNS to them. All it takes is just setting the DNS records to point to them for your mail, and then, they'll host your mail for you. They also do a really good job at filtering out garbage mail. Like if you're getting a lot of spam and garbage, they're pretty good at filtering that out on a global basis. Like on our mail servers, we filter over 1 million messages an hour. We dump them straight to the trash. Like all the gobbledygook coming from Russia and China and, all these funky places. We're filtering out over 1 million of those an hour. I can't imagine how much, G Suite is filtering out. It must be just a crazy number.
My one concern with Google is that maybe it's because they're the biggest email provider on the planet, but you're on your own. There is no support, full stop, period. No way, no how can you talk to anybody about anything. So if anything goes sideways, you're toast, and there's no way to fix it.
That I've heard that also with the Outlook 360. I think that's just kind of the way the world's going.
Yeah.
No, Microsoft, I go into Microsoft. If I have a question, I go into support, and they call me typically within 20 minutes to a half hour. And I've been on the phone for 2 to 3 hours with some of those people actually trying to sort a problem. And I actually found a flaw in their system that they said, thank you for finding it. But, that's, even though Microsoft is a little expensive, that's kind of why I've been staying with it.
Yeah. Well, that's actually good positive feedback. So anybody that wants more support, that might be a good option for you versus Google.
Okay. Yeah. Well, I am
And they're going
My
to do the
target is-
same thing. They have a lot of clout with email deliverability. So any of those big providers, the problem with you running your own mail server is you are in control. You are also responsible. You're responsible for the email reputation, all of that. And when the shit hits the fan, guess who's going to get to sift it out? It's going to be you.
Yeah, well, that, one of the things I wanted to ask, it's kind of a fine point, but I read carefully, and all these new Google regulations, they only apply technically to Gmail accounts. And quite literally, because I'm dealing with businesses, the first thing I do is scrape and clear my list of any business that has a Gmail account. Because if a business has a Gmail account, they aren't a business. So I'm not sending to Gmail. So even though I've had all that stuff in place for better part of a year, isn't it true that it only really applies to Gmail addresses?
No, actually, that is not true at all. And the fact that you would just plain sweep Gmail off of your radar is probably a very drastic mistake. And to think that a business owner might not be a business owner because they're using a Gmail address that's a terrible way to look at things.
Well, I understand it. My thought was that if they're using a Gmail account, they're not big into email and doing email outreach and all that stuff, which is of course the first filter we need to do for these companies that are going to be getting these leads. But maybe it's very, very rare. There's only usually one or maybe two, even on a list of 1,500. So I'm not like I'm losing a lot of people there.
Like if I want to get an email through to Ryan Dice, for instance, I'm going to be sending it to a Gmail address. I would not consider him not a business owner.
No, but why would he use a Gmail account?
There's lots of reasons. I mean, we've got people on here that are using AOL addresses. I've got some really good people that, that's just what they use. That's what they're comfortable with. Doesn't mean that they don't do good business. Doesn't mean that they're not really sharp people. It's just what
Well, thank you very much. That's
I
a
can say
clarification.
I can say something. My business domain, I have 3 business domains. I have 3 business domain and each has email address. But for my memberships and for everything, I use my personal email address, and that's generally Gmail.
Yeah.
Okay,
No,
my part
no.
B to my question is your email guy, is he doing, because I realize that I'm going to stay focused here. And if a company says, well, we used to do PPC advertising, but we don't do it anymore because we can't do email. I wanted to have somebody to refer to them, like, the email guy that you said was going to be working with the acquisition air crowd. I'd like to be able to, if he has a affiliate program, send that business to him, because I don't want to, I'm not good at email yet, and I really don't want to take that on as another list. I want to just be selling leads. Somebody told me just sell the leads.
Yeah. Well, believe me, that's going to make your life a much better place if you just sell the leads. Now, here's going to make your life even better is if you just sell the leads to people that know what to do with them. And then you don't have any of those concerns.
Well, that's the point, is if they aren't doing it, say, okay, here's the guy. And then when he gets them up and running, he can call me back and then I can sell him leads.
Yeah. Yeah. And we are we are actively hunting for, a few people that want to do that. And the problem is it's just such a can of worms. I'm having trouble finding somebody that wants to take it on.
Talk to Frank Kern yet?
Oh, Frank would want no part of that.
He has an whole email program and all that stuff that I was involved with for a while. It looked pretty good, but I was not looking at email at that point.
Yeah, I may actually, the guy that I know that is the biggest on email and teaching it and all that is Matt Basak. And I might just reach out to him and see if he has any interest in hopping in here and at least doing some kind of a training on it. So,
Well, those are my two biggies. Thanks, John.
all right, you got it. And Richard, you gotta start pumping the sales machine because Brady's turning blue. He said he was going to hold his breath until you got your sales going, and he's turning blue.
Well, the problem was that I was ready to launch January 8th to do my big launch. And on January 10th, the septic tank backed up.
Oh yeah.
We was wondering why my wife has had 5 ER visits in the previous 4 weeks. And we realized that the thing had been backing up since Thanksgiving. And it took me until the 10th of this month to actually get that wrapped up. So it completely pulled me off. So the emails started running Monday. It's not as money as I want, but their emails are starting to go out, and I'm ramping up to 10,000 emails a month. So it's coming.
All right, we'll tell Brady to take a breath in the meantime. So, all right, Woody.
Hey, greetings, everyone. Good morning.
How's it going?
I need, we redid Forbidden Elvis a little bit. If you could get that up on the screen for me, I would love it. I'm getting hits on my on Facebook, but they don't know to join. They don't know. They think the Facebook site is the site. So I need to turn these people around. I'm getting only about 10 a week. They all go, "Oh, I love it. Elvis is God." and then I go, "Okay."
You might
We
just,
open up the fucking site and buy it already, And
well,
and Johnny, I guess I need when you look at it, maybe I need a new big idea.
yeah, that's probably the case. I mean, when people don't take action, there's a few reasons that could be. The biggest reason is that you're not having a call to action telling them what to do. If they're not doing it, if you have that, if you're very clear on what you want them to do and they're not doing it, then your messaging is off. So that's where a big idea could come in. If they're just hitting it and leaving, they're just that's a cry out saying they're not interested. So big idea is the thing that grabs their attention. But the big idea should also lead to a call to action. It's like, we talk about Frank Kern a lot. One of Frank Kern's magic potions, and this has always been, here's what I've got. Here's what it's going to do for you. Here's what I want you to do next. The what I want you to do next is the call to action. So he says, I've got this amazing thing. It's going to transform your life. All you have to do is click the button and sign up now, pay your $20, and life's going to be grand. Right? That's the progression. It's here's what I've got, here's what it's going to do for you, here's what I want you to do next. And you got to be very specific. People don't know what they don't know. If they don't know how your system works and you're expecting them to get it, they're not going to get it. Very few will get it. So clear messaging, even video. I mean, video has been incredibly powerful for walking people through stuff. But again, you've got to get them engaged. If you can't get them to watch the video, getting them to click to open the video up is one thing. That's step one. That's big idea. If you can grab their attention, get them to take the action of, hey, just click the video and I'm going to explain exactly how it works and what it's going to do for you. Then you got to keep their attention in the video. That's where you create demand and desire for the thing you want them to purchase or the thing that you want them to do. It's always been the same pieces. It's grab attention. The tool there is big idea. Create demand and desire. The tool there is the presentation, the crafting of your offer, your words. That's the creation part of ACT. Creating demand and desire, and then making an offer. And then, the last part of ACT is driving traffic to that messaging. So when you do things in that sequence, they typically work. If they don't work, I can always go back and look and say, here's the break. And you can generally tell the break by exactly where they're bugging out. If they're not looking to begin with, that's a big idea problem. That's an attention grabbing problem. If they're coming to your site, they're spending time, but then they're not buying, that's a create demand and desire problem, or possibly an offer problem. So you just got to look at where you're stuck, that's where the problem is. And then you need to go back to the drawing board on wherever that break is. So it sounds like you know where the break is. If you've got X amount of people clicking on something and going somewhere, and then they're not opting in or they're not buying your stuff, that's your break.
Well, they're taking time to comment. I mean, they're involved at some level.
So here's another thing. Here's another place where you could be off. There's a lot of people that will comment on things that are not your buyer. And this is the thing where I've seen so many people go to a mastermind group that knows nothing about their industry or their product, and they ask for advice. And those are not the people you need advice from. You need advice from your audience, the people that are going to purchase from you. Those are the only ones that should matter. If you're getting your analysis from places that are not your customer, you're getting bad information. And, a lot of people in those masterminds will participate. They'll post, they'll comment, they'll give you all kinds of feedback, good, bad, or otherwise, but it's not your customer. Your customer is not going to comment. They're going to buy your stuff if they like it. Right? So you might have the wrong audience. I don't think so, because if you go into Elvis fans are your audience. But, if they're commenting instead of buying, maybe it's not clear what they need to do. Maybe the value is not clear. Like, if you look at a really good offer, it doesn't matter how much it costs. You're in your mind figuring out, how am I going to get this? I got to have this. Right? And they're not commenting. They're buying. They're taking the action to get them what they want. You've got to figure out, like, I don't care who you are or what you're selling, you've got to figure out the person that you're trying to sell it to. What do they want? Why do they want it? And how are you going to get it for them? What have you got that's going to solve their problem? When I say problem, it doesn't necessarily have to be a problem. It could just be a want or a desire. But any want or desire could be spun into a problem. I mean, you could look at somebody that's looking for a luxury vacation. Their problem is they need to recharge. Their problem is they're getting burnt out at work. They need time off. They need to get away. They need to, rejuvenate their life so they can be productive again. So you can spin even a luxury vacation into the core of the need for it is a problem.
Could you just open it up and take a look at it for me, Chief?
I've looked at it a dozen times, Woody.
Well, we fixed it up more.
I'll look at it on the side. Everybody on here has seen it a dozen times, so I'll look at it and give you. But I can tell you right now, we just covered the problems that it could be, and it should stand out pretty readily.
All right, well, hit me up, Johnny.
All right, I'll take a look at it after and get back at you.
Thank you, bro.
All right, you got it. All right, Sue.
I wanted to tell you from your big idea, okay? Before I joined ACT, I love to create stuff and I kept on creating, and then I had lots of digital dust. So I hired VA and but still it was like too many products had too many lead magnets, too many campaigns, too much of marketing, and I was spreading myself really thin. So then after finishing your ACT program, I got the big idea. I really got a transformation, okay? So
Awesome.
what I'm doing, I'm packaging all my e-courses into MRR, and then I'm providing them the implementation support, and I'm creating e-course that I'll do everything for you. I will give you lead magnet, campaign, and sales page. I'll provide you implementation support, and you can sell my MRR courses, master resale rights to you. So I want to be off of the all the marketing things, and then basically I'm also creating a membership. I was totally against membership, but finally I have so many resources, so there is no option but I have to create membership. So I'm creating membership, and it consists of e-courses, social media templates, and various things. Actually, it's a combination of various things. So I was thinking of name like Your First Million. So I thought, okay, I'll make e-course of saying that you can sell my MRR courses and you make your first million. And messaging was like that. If you haven't made your first million, take this course and make your first million. And if you have made million, then come as a guest speaker and empower my community. So that was my message. That is what I crafted the message after finishing ACT. But now I'm looking at URL. All the URLs are taken. Your first million is gone. My first million is gone. First million is gone. Everything is .com is gone. I have all various other things like IO and beads and all other things. So I want your input. So this is the big idea I got after finishing ACT. I want your input. What should I do next and how to proceed? Because now I have really lesser focus on marketing. I'll be focusing only on this e-course and my membership, because I like to create a lot, but whatever I create, I'll put it into membership because I just don't want to keep on spreading myself too thin. So I want your input. Please guide me.
Okay. So all of the things that you create, for the most part, they are products. They're not companies.
No, they are products.
What you should have is you should have a company website, a company domain, company email address. And then everything else is just products. So if you're buying other domains, it should just be for the product, just to point them to that page in your website. So
right now I have 3 domains. I have newbeginning.com, mynewbeginning.com, and soupats.com. And all 3 domains, they have stuff. So
okay. So you need to figure out, like, you have an identity crisis. You need to figure out, who do you want to be when you grow up, and be that person.
oh no, I want to be soupats because I'm planning to sell my 2 companies, mynewbeginning.com and newbeginning.com. I'm planning to sell them off. So I will stick to soupats.
Okay. But you get what I'm saying, right? You have a core business. That's your brand. That's your entity. Like for me, it's Internet Dominators. I have the ACT program, but it's a product of Internet Dominators. I've got all kinds of different stuff under my umbrella, but it all falls under Internet Dominators. I don't have a ton of email addresses. I have one email address. It's John at Internet Dominators. You know, I don't create a bunch of stuff to complicate the shit out of my life. It's like, I want things plain and simple and all under one umbrella. Now, you guys watched me create Acquisition Air, and I created that kind of off on the side. And some of you are wondering why I haven't put that into the Internet Dominators site. There's no mention of it really on the Internet Dominators site. And that's because I'm really trying to create that as a biz opportunity for other people, and I don't want to compete with you. That's why I'm doing that a little bit differently. But all of my traditional products and stuff, they all come out under Internet Dominators. And here's another thing. you should not really be spending a lot of time creating things before you've tried to sell them,
Yeah.
right? Like if you're creating a course, I'm going to tell you right now, I wouldn't spend 10 minutes creating a course unless I had presented the idea to a group of who I thought would need the course and offered it to them and see if they buy it. Right? It doesn't have to be done. It doesn't have to be even started. And guess what? If they don't buy it, I'm not making it. Right? Plain and simple. If I go out to a group of people that I think this is perfect for, and I offer it to them and they don't buy it, I'm shit canning it like immediately. I was wrong. I was obviously wrong and I proved it. So I'm not going to spend an ounce of my time on creating something I can't.
No, my
start.
course is validated. The course I'm talking about, your next million, it is validated because I did a demo, means basically interviews and all. Yeah.
So how many people did you present it to and how many bought it?
I didn't sell them, but I just validated the idea, means whether they would like to buy, because nothing was ready,
that's
so I
not-
didn't.
People will tell you they'll buy something all day long.
Okay.
When they pull out their credit card and give it to you, then you validated that they will buy it. Right? I'm not going out and asking who wants to buy this. I don't care who wants to buy it. I care who's going to buy it. I would not create anything until people pull their credit cards out and actually put them on the line. Like the first SEO course, there's a lot of new people, so I'm going to tell the story again because a lot of you haven't heard this. Some of Richard's like, oh my God, not again. But I'm going to tell you the first course that I ever made was on SEO. And it was because I didn't want to do the SEO. And I knew the people that wanted it couldn't afford me at the time. So I didn't want to lower my prices. Basically, I got an opportunity to speak to a women's group. And it was the Orange County, that's where I live in Orange County, the Orange County Professional Photographers Association. And it was all female. These were like photographers. They were the commercial photographers, and they wanted me to come speak on SEO so they could grow their business. Now, I knew going in, they were all going to want me to do it. I didn't want to do it at that price. I knew what they could afford, and they couldn't afford the level I was at. I was charging like 10 grand a month for SEO services to big companies at the time. And I didn't want to do stuff for $1,000 a month. And that would even be a stretch for them probably. So what I did, I told my wife I was going to do it, and she thought I was nuts. I said, I'm going to go and I'm going to speak. I'm going to tell them how to do the SEO, and then I'm going to offer them a course so they can do it themselves. And she just looked at me and said, you don't have a course. And I said, that's right. And I'm not going to make one either unless they buy it. And I swear to God, I was praying that they didn't buy it because I didn't want to make it. I had no idea how to make it. I had never done a screen share video in my life. I had no experience with making courses or doing any of that. So long story short, I presented, and 60% of the room pulled their credit cards out and bought it. And I'm like, so shit. Now I got to make this thing. But I was very honest with them. I told them this thing doesn't exist. I'm going to build it for you if you want it. You know, you'll have the offer today to purchase in if you want to do this. And anybody that wants to do it, we're going to start, the first of the month was a Monday. I said, we're going to start it on Monday. I'm going to give you your first module. That gave me about 3 weeks to create the first module. I said on Friday of that week, we're going to do a conference call. This was before Zoom. There was no Zoom. There was no video conferencing. It was like a telephone conference. Free conference calling, I think it was. So I said, we're going to do a conference call on Friday. I'm going to answer all your questions about module 1. Then the following Monday, you're going to get module 2. and there's 8 modules. I walked through each one, how they worked and what they were going to learn. And I said, this is going to go on for 8 weeks. Who wants to join me? And like 60% of the room pulled their credit cards out. That's validation. That's worth building something for. Now, along the way, during the 8 weeks, I was telling everyone else about it too. I had a couple of opportunities to speak at different groups and got a bunch more people to jump in on. So before the 8 weeks was even up, I had I think I had almost 200 people in this thing. It started off with 60 and it wound up with almost 200 people that had bought this thing. And I don't even remember how much I charged them for it. I think it was $297. And so anyway, we get to the end of the 8 weeks and we're on the Friday call, the last Friday call. And these people were freaking out. And I'm like, don't worry, I'll stay on here as long as it takes. What questions do you have? You know, there's no reason for you to freak out. You know everything. I've given you everything. You got the recorded calls. You got the recorded modules. You got everything. There's no need to freak out. And when I got to the bottom of what they were freaking out was, next week, I'm going to be gone and they're going to be alone. So that gave me the idea on the spot, would you like me to continue these calls? And would it be worth like $30 a month? $29.97. How many of you would want to continue the calls every week? No more modules, just me answering your questions for $30 a month. And everybody, it was 100%. All of them pulled their credit cards back out, and that is the call you are on today. It's been going on for like 15 years. That is today. You are on that call. So you have joined into that group of people that it's worth $30 a month to have access to me. Now, along the way, I didn't create 10 of these calls.
No,
I've created 10 products. This call covers them all.
no.
So that's, again, not complicating my life. Like some of you are on here from Alignable. You have joined me on Alignable. You're here on the call. Some of you purchased the ACT program, at a seminar. You're on the call. Some of you have bought SEO products from me in the past. You're on the call. Some of you found me at mastermind groups. You're on the call. It's like this call. I don't know if you guys realize, over the time that I've been doing this call has brought in several $1 million. $30 at a time. And it's probably one of the most enjoyable things in my business that I do. It's why I keep doing it. It's not for the money. This is the only thing. If I had to cut everything out and they said, hey, you can only do one thing, take everything out of your business and just keep one thing, this call would be the thing I would keep. Because it helps people. It helps everybody on here. And there's a ton of people, like you guys, a lot of you guys show up every week. There's a boatload of people that are not showing up live on the call, but they're watching the recording. And, they're sending me emails and stuff about, hey, can you talk about this? Can you cover this? Can you cover that? So validate what you're doing and build stuff that people are willing to pay for, not what they say they want. Because people are real easy about saying, oh yeah, I want that. That sounds great. I'd buy that. And then you build it and you say, hey, it's ready now. And then they ghost you. That's not the way I want to go through life, being ghosted. It's like, and then you've got this bad blood because you spent all this time and you're pissed because they told you they wanted it. Now they're not buying it. and now you don't feel good about them anymore. And that's not the way you want to create relationships. So going about your business in that way is really bad. It's going to create negativity on all sides. Figure out.
But I have seen actually lots of people, they are doing MRR selling and they are very successful. So can I follow them?
Yeah. I mean, look at what's successful. That's what you want to do. You want to follow a successful model. That's part of the analysis, the competition analysis. Go out and look at your competitors, hopefully the ones that are doing really well, and see what they're doing. Use your head though. Think about what are they doing, and is that really what's working for them? There's some people that do stuff that doesn't work, and then if you follow it and it doesn't work, and then you wonder why, and then you think, well, the business isn't good, or you'll blame it on a lot of stuff, but not the truth. So, but yeah, absolutely. Look at successful models, follow successful models. And most of you are not blazing any trails. Most of you are in a business that someone else has done before. Probably well, they're probably doing well at it. So, you can look at that. You can look and see, like the internet marketing space. There's, you've got somebody right here that's willing to actually tell you what I've done, what worked, what didn't work. And it's very easy to model me. It's very easy because I'm so transparent on it. Like anything that I've done that didn't work, I don't keep doing it. It's like, we talk about failing fast. I will fail really quickly and be on to the next thing. What I have found for me that works the best, because I absolutely despise bean counting and analytics. That is like the furthest thing from my personality that I can get. I absolutely hate that stuff. So going and running Facebook ads and having to calculate ROIs and all this shit to figure out if something's working, that's just like dip me in a pool of acid and just watch me fry. There's some people that love it. They love getting in the weeds. They love counting the beans. They love like analyzing everything to absolute death. And I will run from that as fast as I can. I will do stuff I can get it instant results. I can see, is this good or is this bad? And one of the biggest things that I've shared with you guys over and over and over is finding somebody that has my audience. Like in the SEO, I'll use the SEO space as a perfect example. When I was selling the Site Pop software, when we were coming out of the gate and I was selling it hard, I didn't want to sell it hard. I didn't want to do all of that. So I found the people that had my audience, the people that were selling other SEO tools and already had a group of customers. And I would go to them and I'd say, hey, how would you like to do a webinar and introduce the Site Pop product to your customers? And I'll give you a 50% commission. You'll make money on the front end and you'll make money forever. As long as they're paying me, I'm paying you. How would you like to increase your revenue without any more ad expenses, without any more ads, without any more customers? I can help you do that. So again, I found out what they wanted. They built a list to make money. So I came and said, how would you like to make more money with your list? That's what they wanted. And when they said yes, that validated it. They would put me on a live webinar. I would do the presentation. The money would come in. I pulled customers off their list, split half of that money back to them, and I didn't have to count any beans. And at the end of the day, I knew, hey, I just made a good chunk of money and it's going to come in month after month after month. That is a successful model for me. It's like, okay, how many times can I do that? How many more people can I find that are just like the one that I just made a huge success with? Right.
John, you
So,
might want, one of the things that I found interesting talking to my PPC people is that I did good old chat GPT. I said, okay, if I'm running a PPC campaign, I want to say, I want to run PPC ads. How many steps between that decision and my first leads that I can then start emailing? It's 46 steps.
yeah.
And so I can go to my PPC advertiser and say, how would you like to skip these 46 steps and, just get the leads?
Yeah. Well,
Right
it's
up
the
there
same
with
with SEO.
retargeting.
Yeah. That's the same problem with SEO. It's like there's more than 46 steps in that, and there's 6 months in a gap. You're creating a 6-month canyon that hopefully they'll get across to get to the other side. So yeah, that's a very big selling point. That's a way to create demand and desire, talking about what they want and all their current hurdles and challenges that you can remove for them. That's how you create demand and desire. Find their pain, poke the living shit out of it, show them a better way, faster, cheaper, easier. That's what they want. They want faster, cheaper, better. If you can show them how you're faster, cheaper, better, you're creating demand and desire. All you have to do, like when you've done that, when you've created that demand and that desire, the only thing that's standing in the way of you in a sale is an objection. And then you just have to identify what those objections are, eliminate the objections, and make your offer again. It's really that simple. Like the sale for acquisitionnaire to somebody that needs leads and knows what to do with the leads, it is going to be the easiest sale you've ever made. It's the sexiest offer that I've ever been able to put together. It really is. It removes, like you were talking about, the 46 steps to PPC. It eliminates all that. I can talk about the 6 months of pain, sweat, and tears to get SEO to work for you. It eliminates all that. It eliminates the fear of spending a ton of money to get no results. Here, you can turn the traffic on like a faucet. You can buy 100 leads. You can get your metrics off 100 leads. You can tweak, adjust, and run another 100 leads. If you run your first 100 with a particular big idea, a particular sequence, you're going to get some kind of a result. The result might be 0. All that says is you got the wrong angle, you got the wrong big idea. Where was the break? If you bought 100 leads and you sent 100 emails out, no one responded, I guarantee you have a break in your big idea. You're not grabbing their attention. Because it's not that the leads are bad, the leads are good. It's you didn't grab their attention. So your big idea sucks. Fix it. Try it again. Either run it back to the same 100 or get a new 100 and run it out to them. Once you get a baseline and you say, okay, 10 people responded, but nobody purchased. Okay. You obviously have not created demand and desire. If you grab their attention and you didn't sell to them, obviously you either didn't create demand and desire or you didn't eliminate any potential objections. That's it. There's no magic outside of that. There's no reason for them. If they want what you've got and what you've got provides what they need, and you have explained that properly and you've created the demand and desire for it, and you've eliminated the objections, and you make an offer, a very high number of them should purchase. And the ones that don't, you just didn't anticipate the real objection. There's superficial objections, and then there's the real one. And sometimes the real one is never spoken. There's a lot of cases where they think in their mind they can't afford it, and they're too proud to say that. And again, you just haven't overcome that objection. And if you didn't anticipate that was the real objection and you didn't address it, you're not going to make the sale. It's very, very plain and simple. I mean, this stuff is a recipe that bakes like a cake. Every time you put the same ingredients, you stir it the same, and you put it in the same temperature oven, the cake is going to come out identical every time. So I guarantee you, if you're not making sales, it's going to fall in one of those three buckets, or maybe variations of those three buckets. The first bucket is grabbing their attention. And if you're not grabbing their attention, it's maybe you don't understand the market. Maybe you haven't done your analysis right. Maybe you're talking to the wrong people, but there's a problem there. Grabbing attention is a key component to getting the game started. So there's a lot of pieces to it. There's a lot of complexity to that, but that's the core basis of the beginning of the problem. If you can grab their attention, and you got people opting in, they're basically saying, yes, you got my attention. You've turned my head, and you're still not making sales. Then it moves to the next sector, which is creating demand and desire. If you keep them on a webinar for 20 minutes, 40 minutes, or whatever, I'm pretty sure you're keeping their attention. You've got their demand and desire building. If they're falling off your webinar in the first 5 minutes, you're fucking it up. You are not speaking their language. You have not figured out what they want, why they want it, and talking music in their ears. You got to fix that. If they are going through to the end of your webinar and you're still not making the sales, then you've missed an objection somewhere. And it's probably an unspoken one. And with a sales funnel, you do not have the luxury of asking what's holding you back. You have to anticipate it ahead of time. You've got to anticipate it and destroy it. You've got to eliminate it before you make your offer. So if price is an issue and it's because they don't have the money or whatever, maybe you're trying to sell them a $5,000 thing and maybe they don't have $5,000 in their bank account. That's a problem. They can't write you a check. Maybe they don't have a $5,000 limit on their credit card. Maybe their credit card's tapped out. Maybe they have a real objection that is, and remember, every objection is based on a belief. They believe they can't. And if they believe it, it's true between their ears. It's your job to make it untrue. And that was Benjamin Franklin's magic formula. Reversing any objection. He reverses the belief. And he does it with claim proof benefit. If you believe you can't afford it, he's going to make a completely contrary throw out. He's going to make the claim. You can afford it. Now, if you just leave it at that, that's argumentative. That doesn't help anybody. You have to immediately attach it to the proof. The proof is you can't afford not to. This thing is going to make you money. This is going to make you money way more than what it's going to cost you. If you're saying you don't have the money right now, if your credit card's maxed out, you really need this. You need to fix the problem. I'm bringing you the solution to your problem here. Here's what we're going to do. And maybe you have to craft your offer in a way that you make it so they can afford it. Maybe you have to get them to understand how they can afford it with payments. Maybe you don't have the $5,000 on your limit, but could you afford $100 today to get the ball rolling? And then by the time you're ready for your next payment, I'm going to make it to where you're making money to where you're going to be able to pay that. And I'm just spitballing shit out here. I don't know if that's true with what you're offering, but you've got to craft it into a way that it solves their problem. It eliminates the objection. So you've seen that. Like I got this one from, this was from Jeff Johnson. And he's like a really good sales guy. And or actually it's Tim Johnson, not Jeff. Tim Johnson, he can sell ice to Eskimos. And he got on a call with me and he said, I want you to give me every objection, you've ever come across, everything you can think of. And I'm rattling them off and he's just destroying them left and right. I'm like, holy shit, this guy's really good at this game. And one of the best ones that I heard, and I actually used this and it worked. I was at a live event and I presented ACT, and the deal was $497 to get the ACT program and then on the calls for $29 a month. And this woman, she came up to me after everyone was bringing up their order forms, handing them to me at the front of the room. She came up, she had the order form half filled out. And she said, I just really can't do this. And I asked her, it's that famous line, what's holding you back? And she said, my husband will absolutely kill me if I buy another thing and come home. And I kind of laughed at her, and not at her, but with her. and I said, well, tell me this, would he be upset if you took him on a really nice vacation and paid for everything? And she said, no, I think he would like that. And I said, well, that's what you're buying today, the ability to do that. How is he going to be mad at you for that? And she filled the damn thing out and handed it to me. And that was one of Tim's things of how he overcame that objection. And I'm like, damn, it actually really works in real life. So, and she actually made money with it. She actually made money with the program. It helped her sell more of her stuff. And I don't know if she took her husband on the vacation or not, but I'm sure he was not upset about it. So that's my story. I'm sticking to it. It's easy to find your problems. They're going to be on that timeline somewhere between grabbing attention, creating demand and desire, eliminating objections, and making an offer. If you're not making sales, maybe you're just not doing that. But if you're doing that, you can see where the break is. Just look for where the gears grind to a halt. That's where your problem is. And if you're doing it in real life, you have a luxury because you have eyeballs and you can see what's going on. If you're talking to somebody and you have a 10-minute, 20-minute, 30-minute presentation and you see they're losing interest, you don't have to ask them, oh, is this not interesting? You already know. You can see it. And you better either change your tact or just say, hey, this doesn't really look like it's going to work out for us, and save your time and move on. Right? If you don't know how to change tact and do that, then don't waste your time. Just move on to the next one and make it a numbers game. The numbers game is a whole lot of hard work, but if that's what you're into, then just do that. If that's what works for you. To me, that's like clawing my eyes out. I want to do things as minimally as possible and get maximum results. So I'm going to figure out how to make the maximum amount of sales out of the presentations that I'm going to do. Right? I'm going to spend some time doing that. I'll spend my time building the mousetrap. Right? That's where I'll spend my time, not watching it fail over and over and over. I don't want to do any of that. I want to spend my time building the perfect mousetrap and catch the mice right out of the gate. So, Rashid, what do you got for us today?
Oh, good morning. Hello, good afternoon, whatever the case may be.
Sorry, I didn't mean to keep you waiting that long.
Oh, that's all right. First, I wanted to share a cartoon I saw earlier today. This was a interview scene, and the interviewer asks the guy, says, describe yourself in 3 words. The man says, lazy. and I thought about you. That was his three-word description.
Well, I've done my job then. If that came to mind and my face appeared.
Okay, first and foremost, I want to say kudos to Brady and the guys, and I should have listened to him 3 months ago and watched the damn videos. But I finally did, and I realized that I have more information available to me than I know what to do with it.
Oh,
Having
yeah. Between our team, between Brady and Connie and Daniel, I mean, this is by far the most well-supported product I've ever put out. And again, it wasn't from me because I'm too lazy to do all of that. It's because of them.
well, they've done a super job, and they've done a great job of putting up with me asking stupid questions. So kudos to the support team. Having said that, my partner is unable to get onto Acquisition Air's website. We've tried everything. I even went incognito to try to log in using my email and my password, and it would not let me
Okay, so you're talking about they couldn't log in.
into the membership site.
Okay. Now, is this the Kartra membership site or the actual software?
The Kartra membership site where all these videos and stuff are.
Okay, and you sure you got the right username and password?
Uh-huh. That's the one that was given to me by the support team. See, when I go in, it automatically logs me in because of the cookies.
Okay, so that's a username and password.
Right. So I went into the incognito mode and tried to log in with what's on my profile, and it would not let me in.
Yeah, that's a username and password issue for sure.
Okay, so what's the solution?
So I'll send you right now what what it should be, and then you can try it. So let me just get into my Kartra account here and look up your record. Oh, another thing too, I forgot we're announcing Build a Becky is coming to life today. So that's our new chat bot where you can actually train it on anything that you know. And that's the one that we're using on Acquisition Air to answer people's questions. So it's really really cool. I'll show you in a minute here, but let me look your account up. Okay, so you have 3 different accounts in here.
In Kartra?
Yes.
Oh, that's
So
wonderful.
your Acquisition Air account is under your email rashid@rashidhuda.com.
Okay.
So that should be your login. So
Uh-huh.
I'm going to resend you your login information. I just sent it to your email right now.
Okay.
So it'll go to that email. Try that. See if you can't log in with that.
Okay, hold on a second. Let me get on my phone and see if I can.
And while you're doing that, I'll take Mr. McLean here and see what he's got going today. Chris, go ahead and unmute if you're with us. We might have lost him there. He's probably eating a caramel chocolate cake. That's his favorite.
Yeah, John, I have the same information and I've tried it and it won't let me in. I'm going to the dominators.internetdominators.com AA login, put in my email address. Let me do it one more time.
Hello, John.
Yeah, there he is.
Oh, good. Yeah, I'm driving. Good Lord. I'm driving, and here's a tip for everyone. Don't drive and try to unmute at the same time. Not good. Lord have mercy. Hey, I'm busting to ask you some questions. Good to see your faces. And I must say, John, I think I'm sensing a little pep in your step these days. I think you're having more fun with this than with anything else you've done. So that's really good. Hooray.
Oh yeah, I'm having all kinds of fun with life right now.
Good. Hey, one thing came to mind real quick. I wonder, just a quick Kartra question. If I have an opt-in form, and of course it leads to, I want people to go to the video, like a demonstration video. If I just sent them the link to that page with the demonstration video, like I just want to pass it to someone and I don't want them to sign up. I just want to show them. Does it bypass I wonder, the form login requirement if you just send them the page
Yes.
link?
If you
Oh,
send
good.
if you send them the page, like the thank you page for the form, yes,
Yeah, which
it bypasses.
oh, that's a really convenient thing, So they say, well, just go there and log in. It's okay. All right. Thanks. Here's I have two acquisition error questions real quick. One is, I'm going to make a case for sending an email right away. And one, like using, like even when Kartra gets hooked up and I can send it immediately, I just want to make a case for doing that and a case for not doing that. So the obvious, and then get your opinion. The obvious thing is to, you want to get them while the lead is hot. So having an autoresponder in SendGrid or eventually Kartra, man, you can't beat that. So I totally get that. But it occurs to me if I don't have an instant thing, but I'm vigilant on the Google form, it would give me a chance to kind of take those responses sorted by the actual keyword. Because even if I'm attracting them on a topic with multiple keywords, which can have slight variations, there might be a case to be made to seeing, like let's say you're a medical doctor and they got kidney disease versus liver disease. If the keyword kidney was there, I could see taking a little bit of time checking the thing every day. And if someone specifically talks about kidney, I could send them the sequence that's designed specifically for that. You know what I mean?
Yes.
As opposed to oncology. So do you think that trade-off of not sending it instantly when when the lead comes in, but vigilantly checking list and then really digging down into the keywords they use and sending it manually that way?
Yes. So you're basically talking about manual versus automated. So
yes,
you're gonna know how I feel about that right out of the gate. So
can I say one thing? When I say manual, by the way, what I mean is it would be the campaigns would be in Kartra ready to go. I would just manually add them to Kartra and tag them so that the sequence automatically starts. That's what I'm talking about. Okay.
Yes, but here's how I would go about automating that.
Okay.
So rather than making one campaign in acquisition error that had a bunch of different keywords, I would create more campaigns with more specific keywords. Like make one campaign that's all about the kidneys. Make one campaign that's all about diabetic. Make one campaign that's all about, arthritis, whatever your stuff is. Then you don't have to look at them and manually tag them. When the campaign is brought in through Kartra, automatically it's going to come in with the tag of the campaign name. And then it automatically fire the proper sequence.
Oh, that is so clever.
So
And
that's how I would automate that. And that's the way we're building the system. So when the lead is brought into Kartra, it is tagged with what sequence it came out of, or with what campaign it came out of, rather.
okay, I think you just Swami, I think you just saw the future and answered my second question. Because so I totally what you're getting is just take the if I'm doing keywords, just niche it down to those just kidney or bladder or whatever, or male pattern baldness, things that interest me.
The other thing about that, for those of you that are bean counters, what that's going to do for you is you will be able to look and see which keywords are performing. And if you have a campaign, let's say you have a campaign for kidneys and you're paying for 100 leads a day and it's not converting, but yet your diabetic one, you're getting 100 leads a day there and you're getting 20 sales. You might want to kill the kidney campaign and double down on your volume of traffic for the diabetic.
Okay,
So
got it.
that's
So
a trick in pay-per-click. When you set up pay-per-click campaigns to run traffic, the more generic you were, the less you had eyes on the prize. You just knew, hey, you know, my campaign sucks. I'm not getting conversion at what I should, but yet you've got a few keywords in there that are absolutely kicking ass, but you can't see them because they're buried in a bundle of shit. So what they'll do is they'll make a whole bunch of different campaigns and they'll isolate the keywords. And that way they can have split tests and they can see which ones are working and which ones are not. So I would recommend in acquisition it costs you no difference.
sounds a little drastic, but okay.
Yeah. That's why we give
yeah.
you all the campaigns you want. You know, you can have as many as you want.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that's so focus in on that. No, that makes perfect sense. But see, here's my second question. I think you might have answered. So I ran a test for there's a target client I'm interested in, and I thought, you know, I'm just going to run a test, and then show them the results. And I ran the test, and in the keywords and the contextual, I thought, well, I'll just throw everything. I'll throw the entire kitchen sink. I'll do this and I'll do that, and I'll try these different keywords, and I'll add competitors. And I'll add a couple products. And my second question to you or Daniel or, you know, Brady was going to be, when I ran that test and and I said, well, I'm doing this on my own dime. So I only ran 10, you know, I didn't need much for an example. But what happened was one of the competitors, let's say I had like 25 keywords and competitors were in there. All 10 results had that competitor. That's it. That's all they had. And so I was going to ask you, it's like, well, wait a minute, does the software, do I have to get like hundreds at a time? Does the software take one keyword at a time and search and then move to the next one, the next one, the next one, and the next one? Because they all came back. But now I realize I don't care if it does that. If I just specify on kidneys or gallbladder or, you know, whatever, and don't add competitors, don't add products, I'll probably get
Well, that's
better result.
That's another place where having multiple campaigns and splitting it out, you can spread out so you can see which keywords convert.
Right.
But
But
here's something, you know, I just heard you say it, and it makes me think you're setting a big bear trap for yourself. That you
okay.
really want to sidestep this landmine. When you do stuff for free to show that it works, you're setting a big trap for yourself.
Which is?
Nobody wants to pay for something that was once free. And you're not going to get true feedback from them, because let's say you do a free thing for them and they get a good result. Do you think they're going to be honest with you when you ask them, how did that work? Because they're thinking in their mind, he's trying to figure out how much I'm going to pay for this. And they're going to tell you it sucked because they don't want to pay for it. And you already set the pace of not paying for shit.
Yeah.
It's like,
oh, yes.
Don't do something for somebody that is not willing to pay for it. That was what I started this whole rant about. Is people will say yes to free stuff. They'll say, oh yeah, that sounds great. And then when you get to the time you've built it now and you go back and you say, okay, it's ready. And then they ghost you. Don't do that. You're setting up a terrible model in your business by that.
John, what if you do it on the format where I'll do it for you for free if I get a testimonial and all that sort of stuff? That's because that's one of the big things that's out there promoted a lot. I've never tried it.
You incentivize them. Here's what you do. You incentivize them. You say you pay for it. Once you're getting good results, I'm willing to give you some free time or some free stuff, then in turn for a testimonial.
Yeah. But John, no, just, oh, go ahead.
It's just you're really setting a landmine for yourself. And I can tell you right now, it is 100% a lack of confidence.
Yeah.
You
No,
have
no,
told yourself that you need to prove yourself, and you
yeah.
don't.
Yeah, but no, just to clarify, I totally hear and understand the point you're making. But just to clarify, I didn't go to someone and say I'll do it for free. I just want to go to someone and to make a sales pitch. All I was doing is I just ran a test, on this topic so that I could walk in with it's kind of like a sample at Costco. I just wanted to walk in and say, look at this printout, look at this Google sheet. All these people, I can show you the times, I can show you, here's their names, here's their email, and here's the keywords they're looking for. Now, I'm not working for free. I mean, I've learned that as an editor and previous things that, the worst, it's like that joke. A friend of mine's a lawyer, and she had an uncle that needed a law case. And so she turned to her boss at the firm and said, "Hey, I got an uncle. He's got a law case. Can we give him how much do we charge, like family and friends discount?" And the boss said, "Twice what we charge anyone else."
But
And
here's the thing about doing what you're talking about. First of all, running 10 leads is not a test of anything.
okay,
That's not enough to validate a test. For a test, because here's what I would do. If you brought me 10 leads and you said, look, our system works, we ran 10 leads, I'd say, well, how many of them bought? Well, I don't
no,
know. 10 is not enough to give them any kind of a thing. And you just opened up a whole corridor for argument that it doesn't work. Versus going in
yeah,
and say, hey, we've got this lead gen system. We can generate the perfect ideal leads for you. Here's how we do it. How many would you like?
yeah,
No
all
real,
right,
you haven't opened up a can of worms by doing that. So
yeah.
I'm just telling you, what you're doing is going to open up a huge can of worms, and it's going to make it really difficult for you to sell to them.
Already. I just thought having something to show. Yeah. All right. I again, but just to clarify, I'm not working for free. I just wanted to test it myself, for 10 leads, just to test it to see how it worked. And
Here,
yeah,
ask me this question. Ask me this question. You know how
yeah,
much SEO shit I've sold over the years, right?
sure.
So ask me this question. How much of this SEO stuff did you do for yourself to convince yourself it worked? Zero.
Yeah.
I did none. I did nothing
Yeah.
because no one was paying me to do my own shit.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. Well, the benefit from this though is that I got to ask you this question about the results I got. And
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 I
and
don't mean to beat you up about this,
yeah.
but it's what you're experiencing, and I know I can hear it in your voice. It's a confidence thing. You need to walk through the door like, you just knocked down a fucking dragon, and you've got the scepter that will take out the dragon for them. And this thing's worth a lot of money.
Nope. Got it. All
That
right. Well, yep,
is it.
go ahead.
They need to hear that in your voice.
Yeah. And
They they
go ahead.
they really need to just ooze that confidence when you talk to people. So
Mhm.
you need to believe it. That's the biggest thing. You just, and you don't have to do it yourself to believe something. Like, if you watch somebody get shot and they die, you don't have to shoot yourself to prove it. You go, God damn, that worked pretty well.
Mhm.
Right?
Yeah.
You don't have to prove it. You need to know it. You need to be confident. Like when you sell them a gun, you say, hey, this gun's going to protect you. I guarantee you, if you shoot this, you point this at somebody and you pop a cap in them, they're going down. You don't have to say, oh, well, let me show you how it works. You just have to be confident that it does.
Okay. I have a quick follow-up question then. So I just for campaigns, I would just limit it to a very specific keyword, and therefore when the results come back, it gives greater clarity and so break up the campaigns. But I just want to point out then, so my question is, if I do that for the keywords, would I just copy and paste those into the contextual?
Uh-huh. Yep.
Okay, good. And I just want to point out then that, again, with the training videos as it is, it does indicate, hey, you can put your keywords, you can put variations, you can put your competitors, you can put the products. So that's where I got the idea from, of putting all, a complete tossed salad into my campaign,
Yeah.
keywords. That's right.
And that really is something that, we're learning as we go.
Yeah.
And as soon as we start putting these automations in, like for me specifically, I don't know anything about Go High Level, so I don't have any interest in training people on Go High Level. But as I'm thinking about Kartra, I'll be able to create campaigns for people, at least shells, and be able to hand it to them and say, here's how you do it. And that came really clear to me is, oh my God, you don't want a whole bucket of a bunch of keywords. You want specifics because you want to trigger the right sequence. So, and I thought that's just like pay-per-click. When you create pay-per-click campaigns, you get real specific with the keywords in the buckets so you can tell what's converting. And this is going to play right into that. So it's going to be perfect.
Yep.
In the beginning, we weren't thinking that way. We were just thinking, get a bunch of leads, get results. So
No.
We were showing people how to get, a bunch of leads because that's what they wanted.
Yeah. No, I understand. It's a always evolving process. I was just pointing that out, that, that's a legacy suggestion that's in the training. And, but through these conversations, it brings it to surface, and hopefully we all learn.
Yeah, absolutely. As this ball gets rolling, I'll be pushing the whole other narrative of, okay, it's just like any traffic.
Yeah.
You don't want just a bunch of traffic. You don't want to buy just a big list. You want a list that converts.
Oh yeah. And again, I bring that up not as a criticism about the training. I mean, where would we be without the training? I'm just making a point. So yeah.
Hey John, just real quick, if I can make a comment. With what you're talking about, Chris, what doesn't work for you is spot on with somebody else. Having a conglomerate of competitive names, products, businesses, as well as any keyword you can think of, 1, 2, and 3, preferably 2 and 3 word keyword phrases, may be spot on for somebody else. But in your situation where you had one dominant keyword for the leads per day, so if you had 5 or 10 keywords you were looking for, or leads, I should say, a day, it filled up pretty quickly. That's because that one keyword was being searched by a lot more people and didn't have the others, a chance to perform. That's where John's talking about, is breaking that keyword out, putting it in a campaign by itself, or separating by, like you said, kidneys and stuff. But we have other people that they have 4, 5, 6 keywords out of the 10 leads per day that they want, and it's working fine. You just got to take the testing for what you're looking for that specific campaign or that specific client you're working with, and use that technology and the keyword creator to your advantage.
Yeah, that's good. No, that's good. That's what I was really wondering about. Again, I only ran 10, and it all just bang, it gave me the same keyword. And that was really kind of my question under the question. Does it, and I totally understand what you're saying. You'd want to get like kind of cast a net out there and see what's working. In your opinion, Brady, that would necessitate probably doing obviously more than 10 leads, like maybe 100 or 1,000, in order to fill the different buckets. Is that what you're thinking? Is that in other words, if I put a variety of leads, if I put a variety of keywords out there to see what's working and stuff like that, I'm assuming I need to have a bigger daily amount of leads in order to flesh that out. Does that make sense?
It does make sense, but hear it from my perspective too. I don't know who's searching at this dying second, to where, what if you did open it up to 100 leads and all of them came in again with the exact same keyword, because there's just that many more people searching at that time for that specific keyword. I would probably look at it like a liar. So I would say, if you find one that's dominant in a campaign, take it out, put it in a campaign by itself, and say, okay, I'm willing to have 1 or 2 of these leads come in every day, and use that
Okay.
lead in a campaign by itself, and then let the others perform and see what else performs.
Oh, that's a clever approach. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, I was just trying to figure out how the software worked. Is if it does it go the first keyword in check, or does it go with whatever the
No
top
respecter. The system is no respecter of keywords. It's literally who's searching at that exact time with that specific keyword. If it's just 1 word or 2-word keyword that dominates and you only want 10 a day, it could be 10 seconds and you have 10 leads, because at
Got
that
it.
dying second, depending on that campaign. So there's no respecter of keywords.
Okay. See, this really helps knowing, knowing how the sausage is made, because then it makes real sense when I'm setting up the campaign. So I appreciate you taking the time to explain a little bit about how the software works. It doesn't have a checklist and go looking for it. It's whoever's knocking it off at that moment, or whoever's typing it in and searching at that moment.
Yeah. Yep.
May I follow on that line of thinking? Because one of the things that PPC advertisers are facing is that something on the order of 70% of all keywords used in PPC never convert once. And so being able to identify the keywords sounds like a great idea, and if I say, okay, this is the keyword that's converting, if it's a 3-word phrase or whatever, the system's not going to just use that one keyword. It's going to do all the different machinations and variations on that. Is there a way to set it? Okay, is there a way to put it in quotes or something and only literally do that specific keyword, or is it always going to do the mashup?
I believe it's going to mash it up. I'd have to talk to Daniel about that and see if putting it in quotes would do that. I know in SEO you could do that. SEO is a different animal though than what we're doing.
Yeah, well, the thing is that I can't believe that the PPC has such a low conversion rate for most keywords. It's really that they're paying for clicks that will never convert. So I mean, you can also cut those out. Is breathtakingly important.
Here's something that I actually discovered when I was at Google. Like when I was in their facility, above all the doorways, they've got these ticker tapes running across there. And I'm looking at this ticker tape and it just makes no sense whatsoever. It was the craziest stuff. And I asked somebody, I said, what is going on here? What am I looking at? And they said those are keyword searches in real time that are happening right now. And I mean, they're flying by. They were coming in at lightning speed. And I'm looking at that and I'm like, holy shit. As far as SEO, have we really got this wrong? I mean, the things that people were searching for had absolutely no correlation to the way that the SEO world does keyword research. It was very conversational strings. So doing things the way that we're doing it, we're actually catching what real people are looking for versus trying to pinpoint down on what the SEO world is focused on. The SEO world looks at, well, we want to see what Google says of who's running how many searches per keyword per month, and that's what we're going to focus on. Well, Google's leading them all into a trap they want them to be in. The actual real thing about how people really search, like think about it. When you run a search for something, think about what you type in. I know when I type stuff in, it's like big, long, crazy phrases trying to figure out or trying to get to what I want. And when I saw that above the door there in their facility, I'm like, holy shit, that's how it's really happening. Like that's right in the belly of the beast, seeing how things are really working. Chris talked about it's nice to know how the sausage is made. Well, I saw the sausage being made right there on every door. And so trying to identify the 1, 2, 3, 4 keyword phrases, you're eliminating 90% of what's going on, or probably more than that, of what's going on in the real world as far as how people are searching.
John, that nugget is worth the entire hour and 45 minutes. I don't know if that's sunk in for everybody else, but that's a holy shit moment for me is exactly that. That, boy, that explains so much. Thank you.
Yeah, I took away a lot of knowledge from getting inside the belly of the beast. That was just one of the things I learned from getting inside their doors.
Well, keep going.
They should have never let me in. They
Hey,
had
can,
no
can
idea.
hey, can I just ask a follow-up question with Brady, just for clarification? So
Sure.
there's a definite advantage to just keeping it kidneys, specific parts of the body to do that. But at the same time, the person, let's say we sold it to, so I'm selling leads to someone that knows what they're doing. They have a marketing program, marketing department in place, and they have SendGrid. They're all dialed in. An advantage, this is just help with my explanation to them. What they might do, what I might suggest to them, I say, listen, you might want to try to put a word salad, a keyword salad out there, with competitors, with different keywords, different variations. And you definitely want to do more than 10, but give it some backing as far as the count, and then but see what comes up, which keywords work, which competitors. So that would be a selling point. Is I think that kind of bridges what you're saying, John. What people think people are typing in and what they're not, or what they really are, is two different things. Sorry, I'm jumping all over the place, but what I'm trying to say is there's an advantage to putting out a keyword salad to someone, for someone to do that, so they can literally see what people are typing in and what keywords do work. And of course, they only pay for the ones that they actually get. So if keywords aren't working, so you're talking, John, pay-per-click, they pay for that stuff anyway. And Richard said 70% of them never convert. But this way, if they put a lead salad out there, or keyword salad out there, they can see which ones aren't doing it, aren't converting, but they don't have to pay for it. It's okay if it's not showing up. It means go in the other direction. So is that what you're saying? There's an advantage to doing both. Is that right?
Yeah, there's an advantage to doing more campaigns. Absolutely.
Yeah.
More specific campaigns will get you, but here's the disadvantage to it, is it's going to cost you more ultimately, because if you want 10 and you've got 10 campaigns, then now you're at 100. But it's going to take, like we were talking about testing, like I said, you're not going to get any kind of test results out of 10 of anything.
I agree.
You're going to need thousands for you to actually really come up with some really solid data. You're going to need thousands of something before you can make that assessment. So if you're splitting it across 10, it's just going to cost you 10 times as much, but you're going to get there 10 times faster. Right? Because ultimately it makes sense if it's going to take you 1,000, let's say it's going to take you 1,000 to figure out which ones are going to make you money. Do you want to do it 10 a day and take 100 days to make money? Or do you want to maybe do it in a couple of days and make money on the third day? It's going to get you making money faster. You're going to have to spend some money. Anybody that is going to do any kind of advertising is going to need to spend some money. And the problem is most of them are not committed. Most of them they're dabblers. They're going to say, oh yeah, I'm willing to spend $5,000 to figure this out. But they spend $250 and they didn't get a result and they stop. And that's just like flushing that $250 down the toilet. They might as well have gone and got some sushi and had some fun. Right? If they're not committed to doing it, and people that are going to drag it out and take 3 months to trickle out trying to get results, are not committed. That's what you want to do. That's why you don't want to do this stuff yourself to prove it to yourself. You want to find somebody that's got the budget and you want to go to work for them. You want to be their mercenary. They want this animal dead and you're going to show up to kill it for them. You're a paid mercenary. They've got the budget to kill the animal. You're going to be the tool of destruction to do it. So you just need to find the people that have the money that want something done and do it for them. And you've got to be confident. You know, when you tell them I can kill this animal, you have to say it confidently, like you've done it 1,000 times, even if you have not. It's like, you know, like when I sold the course to those women, like I said, I had no idea how to do a screen share video. I had no idea how I was going to produce the course. But I went in there and I told them, I said, hey, I'm going to build this thing for you. Here's how it's going to work. And 60% of them bought it. Right? Like almost every corporate sale I've made, I had not done that thing that I was selling them before. Almost all of them. Walk in there, you're a mercenary, you're there to kill something for them, and they'll pay you to do it. If you can convince them that you know how to do it, and you can do it for them, and the price is right, you're going to get the job. So,
I have a question.
all right, go for it.
Does anybody on this call, John, Brady, anybody that's using Acquisition Air have testimonials or case studies that I can repurpose?
Yes, we have a whole bunch of them for you.
Yay.
They are
That's the
in
right
the
guy.
John, none of them are white labeled. They all have your name and your logo and your stuff all over it.
That's
Even
okay. Take it
Tracy-
off and repurpose it.
Yeah, you can repurpose it. Absolutely. Brady has put those up in the membership area. I don't
Is that it? Do I get to that by logging into Acquisition Air into my dashboard? Is that how I find it?
It's not in the
Yes.
dashboard, it's in the Kartra membership.
You
Got
can
it.
hit the need help button on the bottom right, though. You just need your login credentials, Linda, that you got whenever you registered. And if you don't have them at the top of your inbox or close, I can resend them to you.
Okay, thank you.
And we have a better answer for you so you don't have to strangle Brady this week of when the Go High level is going to be ready.
What? I just got that question this morning. So thank you.
We are thinking there's a high level of possibility that it might be ready for you next week.
Really? I'm not going to make any promises. I just alluded. I
I
said,
didn't say that, Linda. John did.
listen, this is how it works in sales. You go sell it and then take it back to the engineers and say, fuck it, deliver it, go build it.
I have it
Stop whining.
under fair authority, though. I have it under fair authority to say that might happen this.
That's great news. That's
He is
exciting.
correct.
I didn't overpromise that one because I knew that was in the works.
Brady was scared that you were going to come through and get him.
I don't know why. I just don't. I don't understand that statement.
Hey, John, can I share my screen now?
Yeah,
you-
sure. You should have shareability there.
Yes, I do. Okay. See this right here? When I do this, can you see it?
Uh-huh.
Okay. If I go and click on this, which would populate the keyword, no problem. But if I manually type it in,
Rashid, are you in incognito?
yes, I am.
Okay.
So
It could be
basically,
fishy there.
That could be an issue. All right, let me do this. Let me get out of the incognito and
Just
go
try-
back.
But that is definitely a password issue for sure.
Okay, yeah.
It might
Yeah.
be a caching issue as well.
Well,
Because I had a couple of people like a year ago that had something similar to that. And I got Kartra to respond to it, and I forget what they said to do. It was a cache issue. They had to clear the cache out of the browser, and then it worked.
Okay. Uh, let me share my screen again so I can show you what's happening.
The other thing that you might do is go into your password file and just see what password it's plugging in. It's obviously got the right password and it's plugging
Yeah,
in.
right. It is, and I changed the password yesterday to give it to my partner so she can log in, and it would not let her log in. When I go into incognito, it would not let me log in. But when I go in on a regular,
Are you sure it updated the password when you changed it?
oh yeah,
Because it
okay,
asks you for a personal secret to lock in the change on the password.
okay. This is hang on a second. This is what happens when I go in on a regular. See, this is the right domain, correct?
Uh-huh. Yeah.
When I do that, it just logs me in.
Okay.
Doesn't give me a chance to not, put in anything.
Well, that's your browser holding the thing.
Correct.
If you log out, it'll actually ask you for your.
All right. So let me do that real quick. I'll log out. Okay.
Now you may never get back in again.
And then manually put in the password and log in.
Okay, so I don't think it updated the password. You think
Okay. All right. Now let me do this.
Because in Kartra, when you update your password in Kartra, it asks you for your secret key.
Okay. Here, watch this. And I know I have looked at that password by clicking on that I thing, and it is the password that you just sent me. And watch this. It would not there. See?
So that's the password it sent you, right?
That's the password you just sent me.
Yeah.
Okay, that's the one. But when I type it in manually, it won't take it.
Well, that just means you're not typing it in correctly.
Oh well,
But if you copy and paste it, like it might be a 0 versus an O or something like that, or an
no,
I versus an L, or
no, because I was the one who set it up, so I know exactly what I'm typing in. It's not one of those that Kartra gave me.
okay.
I went in there and put in a
Well,
password.
the short answer is paste it in. It worked.
Right. But the thing is, my partner can't get in because when I gave her that in.
Paste it in an email and send it to them and tell them to copy and paste it in.
Okay, I will do that again. But I think she did that also. And she thought because she was copying and pasting it, it wasn't working. So she manually typed it in and it still didn't work.
Well, I would just say try that and see if you have any better luck.
Okay. So that that's the issue is that she can't get in and she can't watch the videos or anything. I don't know what to do about that.
All right. Well, before we head out today, I got to be on a 1 o'clock webinar. But before we go, I told you guys we wanted to release Becky, and I just want to show you what she's all about here. So for anybody that dives in on this and gets a Build a Becky software, this is basically what it is, how it works. So you have to create a workspace first. Actually, the first thing you got to do is you got to go to integrations. And let me get rid of that. You got to go to integrations here and get your key. So what I'm going to do, this is probably longer than what we have to go through here. So what I'm going to do a training probably tomorrow for any of you guys that jump in on this. And I'll walk you through like all the steps of actually getting into this thing. And we'll go through the whole thing. But you create a key, an API key inside of ChatGPT. And then you paste that key in. That's your first starting point. So I'll show you how to do that, how to get in here and generate the key and make Becky work for you. I'll show you how to train her, all that stuff. So sorry we didn't have enough time to do it here today, but we'll get to that one tomorrow. I'm just realizing what time it is here.
John, real quick question. Do you have the ability to change Becky's gender or identity?
Mhm. Absolutely. You can, I have like, I think there's like 8 of them set up already.
Cool.
Let me see if I can
Any
find-
with a British accent, you know how we girls are with accents.
I'm curious, in today's world, can we make it transgender? I'm just curious.
Sure. Hey, you can do anything you like.
Hey, John, is Becky just for the acquisition air program or is Becky for any website?
Becky's for anything. You actually have the ability to train her. So you can train her on anything you want.
Oh, okay. I thought it was all.
Hi, I'm Becky. I'm your transgender guide for the website.
That's
Is
Sorry,
this,
I'm not gonna
is
leave
this,
that one alone,
That's
guys.
rich. That
let
is
me-
really rich.
is Becky part of acquisition air, or is Becky a paid thing, John?
I
No,
think she's a figment of John's imagination.
Well,
Becky's John's new girlfriend.
it's actually where she came from, truth be told. So let me log in here and I'll show you. So we have a test Becky. What I was talking about was under integrations here. You have to plug in your API key. It's just paste it in, hit update, and you're good to go. But then what you do is you go in here to the workspace and you have to create one. So we created a workspace here. You just click create workspace and then you go under coaches and there's no coach here yet. So you create a coach. Now we've got pre-programmed ones. If you're a bodybuilding coach, we've got one pre-programmed. We got a yoga coach. We got a financial. We got an online. And we have a real estate expert. For those of you doing that, I know who you are.
Looks just like Becky.
Pre-programmed, but you can have a chef. I mean, you can literally upload any images you want in here. These are just, a handful to get you started. But if you want to upload your own, you just go to new coach here and you create one. So if you create one, you can name her. You can say what her expertise is. You can give her, upload her image. You can put the base prompt in here. And again, I'll cover that stuff, when we get into that. But pretty easy to do, pretty easy to create this. And
But when is this webinar?
I'll set this up for tomorrow.
And you'll send us an email?
Anybody that gets this and I'll walk you through it and you can set it up right there while we're doing it.
Will you send us an email?
I already did. The email that you got today has the link in here.
Okay.
That's the link for Becky. So you can call her whatever you want. You don't have to call her Becky.
Yeah.
I just thought Build a Bear. I got Build a Becky. So
Trans Becky.
you want to trans Becky?
Trans Becky. I might take that domain, transbecky.com.
You can actually pull up the image creator and you can prompt for any image you want for her or for him, whatever. Some of you might want a cabana boy, who knows?
Is this a paid thing, John, or is that part of the acquisition there?
Yeah, it's a paid software.
Come on, Richard, you know, it's all about the money, baby. How can Johnny make more money?
So I put up a landing page, a Kartra page yesterday for her.
Yeah.
And
I went through it already. Yeah.
Shows all that good stuff. You can pick a coach or you can create your own. And then we got 3 levels. Does this look familiar? You guys think I built this thing out or maybe copied it and plugged in some?
That looks like a copy of some other program I've seen recently. Where was it?
Yeah. So this one here is basically the deal for you guys, the Dominator deal. It's for you to run it if you want to use it on your business and acquisition air and all that. $99 a year. That's pretty inexpensive. These two here is basically there's an annual and a monthly. If you want to sell these, it gives you can create like 25 clients. And so if you want to do Becky's for clients, you can get 25 clients for $299 a year.
What, John, can I ask you that? What would be a sales price we would offer our clients for that in your?
Whatever you want.
Can you give us a go-to starting ending type window?
I would say
you think.
If it were me, I'd probably sell it to them for $97 a month.
Okay, thanks.
And then you train it, you might even charge them an upfront fee to train it for them. And you can train it by uploading any documents they have, any Q&As, any videos that they've got. You can use multiple modality to train it on their business, on their products. And then she'll answer the questions based on what she knows about what you've told her. If she doesn't know, she'll tell them that, and then you'll get the notice of, hey, how do I answer this? So
Hey, John, speaking of affiliate, I'm sorry, did I cut you off?
No.
Speaking of affiliate and upselling, and the site pop jogged my memory. The client I'm going to talk to about leads would be an ideal candidate for site pop as well. I mean, and especially this is pre-acquisition air. What would if I go in with someone who's big on advertising, they do a lot of advertising, and offer them leads, would it be also worth a shot at selling them site pop as well if they're still have 1-2 feet in that past world of no, we got to do SEO. I might as well, hey, if they're gonna be there, I might as well sell them site pop.
That's the cool thing about this. When you get a client, you can sell them all kinds of stuff. There's no, you might not want to try and jam everything down their throat at once, but as you deliver, they will want to buy more and more from you. You just keep coming back and saying, hey, I got this, you might be interested. And since they got good results the last time, they'll go, absolutely, let's do it.
I'm already creating the Simple Easy automation package.
I bet.
I already own simpleeasyautomation.com, right? I mean, come on, right there, John. I can put this all into a package and sell to them every month.
All right. Well, hey, I got to wrap it up because I got to get on another webinar here. And thank you guys all for coming. And we'll be back on again next week, regular time.
Thanks, John. Great nuggets this week.
Bye, guys.
Thank you.